When you go silent after no contact, her mind doesn't just wander, it races. She starts analyzing every moment, questioning what she did wrong, what you're thinking, and whether she's losing you for good. Silence isn't just the absence of words, it's a psychological shift that she can't ignore. In this video, we'll uncover exactly what goes through her mind and how you can use this powerful strategy to turn the tables in your favor. Stick around. This could change everything. Section 1. Why silence affects her deeply. When you go silent after no contact, you're not just removing words. You're removing certainty. Certainty is comforting. It allows her to feel secure, even if she's not reciprocating the same level of effort. But when you stop reaching out, you create a gap, a space she didn't plan for. Suddenly her world feels off balance because she's no longer in control of the dynamic. This imbalance triggers a psychological reaction. She starts replaying moments in her mind, the last conversation, the last text, the last thing you said. These thoughts don't just come and go. They stick with her, growing louder as the silence continues. Why? Because silence leaves room for interpretation, and humans naturally fill gaps in information with assumptions. Here's the key. Her assumptions are rarely neutral. They're emotionally charged. She starts thinking, did I push him away? Did he lose interest? Is he seeing someone else? These thoughts create an emotional storm within her, one that forces her to focus on you, even if she tries not to. What makes silence so powerful is that it shifts the dynamic in your favor. When you were constantly available, she may have seen you as predictable or even taken you for granted. But now, your silence forces her to see you differently, not as someone she can easily access, but as someone who has value and boundaries. This change in perspective drives her to question her actions and decisions. Section 2. What happens in her mind? During no contact, when you go silent, her mind doesn't just wander, it spirals. The initial stages might seem indifferent. She tells herself, he's just busy, or he'll text me eventually. But as the hours turn into days, that indifference begins to crack. The first thing that happens is curiosity. She starts to wonder why you haven't reached out. Curiosity is a powerful motivator because it taps into her need for answers. This isn't just about you, it's about her sense of control. When she doesn't know where she stands with you, her thoughts become consumed with figuring it out. Next comes doubt. She begins to question her actions and decisions. Did I say something wrong? Did I push him away? This self-reflection isn't just a fleeting moment. It grows stronger as time goes on. Doubt turns into insecurity, and that insecurity creates an emotional connection to you, even in your absence. The final stage is regret. If she feels she contributed to the silence, whether by being dismissive, unresponsive, or distant, she starts to wonder if she made a mistake. Regret is one of the most emotionally charged feelings, and it can push her to take action, whether it's reaching out to you or trying to reconnect in subtle ways. What's important here is to recognize that this process takes time. Silence doesn't work overnight, but when it does, it creates a lasting impact. By stepping back, you've allowed her to feel the full weight of your absence. Section 3. Why silence works better than chasing. Chasing her after no contact might seem like the natural thing to do, especially if you still care about her. But in reality, chasing often has the opposite effect. When you chase, you reinforce the idea that she's in control of the dynamic. You're essentially saying, your attention is more valuable than my self-respect. Silence, on the other hand, communicates something entirely different. It says, I value myself enough to step back and focus on my own growth. This isn't about playing games. It's about showing that your time and energy are precious. When you stop chasing, you give her the space to reflect on what she's losing. Think about it this way. People are naturally drawn to things that are scarce. When you're constantly available, your presence becomes predictable. But when you go silent, you create an air of mystery. She starts to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you've changed. This curiosity doesn't just make her think about you, it makes her miss you. Silence also gives you the opportunity to reset the dynamic. Instead of being the one who's always initiating, you're now the one being pursued. This shift isn't just about power, it's about creating a healthy balance. By staying silent, you're setting a standard for how you deserve to be treated. Section 4. How silence changes her perception of you. When you go silent, you give her the space to see you in a new light. Before, she might have viewed you as predictable or even overly eager, but now your silence forces her to reevaluate who you are and what you bring to the table. She starts to remember the good times, the moments when you made her laugh, supported her, or showed her kindness. These memories become amplified in your absence. Why? Because silence creates an idealized version of you in her mind. She's no longer focused on the little things that annoyed her. She's focused on what she's missing. This shift in perception doesn't just happen on its own. It's a direct result of the space you've created. By stepping back, you've allowed her to see your value clearly, and as that value becomes more apparent, so does her desire to reconnect. But here's the key: you have to maintain that space. If you break the silence too soon, you risk undoing all the progress you've made. Let her come to you on her terms. When she does, it will be because she's truly ready to engage, not because she feels obligated. Section 5. What to do when she reaches out. When she finally reaches out, it's a pivotal moment. This is where your composure and confidence matter most. The first thing to remember is to keep your response calm and measured. Don't rush to reply or pour out your emotions. Instead, keep it simple. A response like, "Hey, good to hear from you," is enough to open the door without giving away too much. Let her take the lead in the conversation. If she's reaching out, it's because she wants to reconnect. Pay attention to her tone and what she's saying. Is she apologetic, curious, or just testing the waters? Your job is to listen and gauge her intentions. Most importantly, don't bring up the silence unless she does. If she mentions it, keep your response neutral. Saying something like, "I've been focusing on myself lately," shows that you've been busy and independent. This reinforces the idea that your time is valuable. The goal is to maintain the dynamic you've created. Let her put in the effort to rebuild the connection. By staying calm and confident, you show her that you're not the same person who was chasing her before. You've grown, and that growth is what makes you stand out. Section 6. The psychological power of silence. Silence isn't just the absence of communication. It's a psychological tool that taps into some of the most fundamental human emotions. When you go silent, you create uncertainty, and the human mind is wired to hate uncertainty. This is why silence after no contact feels so powerful. It forces her to fill in the blanks with her own thoughts and emotions. The moment you stop reaching out, you're no longer predictable. Predictability can feel safe, but it doesn't inspire desire. By breaking that pattern, you create an element of mystery that she can't ignore. She starts wondering, what's he thinking? What's he doing? Why isn't he reaching out to me? This curiosity consumes her thoughts because she no longer feels in control of the narrative. Here's another layer. Silence also amplifies her emotions. If she had any lingering feelings for you, those emotions will now bubble to the surface. Think of it like this. Your silence is a mirror reflecting her insecurities, doubts, and regrets back at her. The longer the silence lasts, the more she's forced to confront those feelings. Psychologically, silence also sets you apart. Most people feel the need to explain themselves or seek closure, but by choosing silence, you're showing that you're different. You're demonstrating that you value yourself enough to walk away, and that confidence is magnetic. Section 7. How silence forces her to reflect. When you go silent, you give her the space to reflect, not just on you, but on herself. Reflection is a powerful process, often triggered by loss or absence. Your silence acts as a catalyst, forcing her to think about the relationship, her actions, and what she might have done differently. At first, this reflection might feel uncomfortable for her. She may try to distract herself with friends, work, or social media. But no matter how much she tries to avoid it, the questions will linger in her mind. Did I take him for granted? Was I too distant? Did I make a mistake? This reflection isn't just about regret. It's also about appreciation. Sometimes it takes losing someone to truly understand their value. Your silence gives her the opportunity to see you not as someone who was always there, but as someone worth missing. What's important here is to let her go through this process on her own. Reflection takes time, and if you try to rush it by reaching out, you'll interrupt the emotional journey she's on. Let her sit with her thoughts. The longer she reflects, the more likely she is to realize what she's lost. Section 8. Why silence builds respect. Respect is one of the most important foundations of any relationship, and silence is a powerful way to rebuild it. When you stop chasing her or trying to explain yourself, you're sending a clear message. I respect myself, and I won't beg for anyone's attention. This self-respect is what makes her start to respect you. Think about it. People are naturally drawn to those who value themselves. By going silent, you're showing her that you're not afraid to walk away. This isn't about playing games. It's about setting boundaries and demonstrating that you won't settle for less than you deserve. Respect is also built through your actions during no contact. If she sees you thriving, whether it's through personal growth, new hobbies, or just living your best life, she'll start to see you in a new light. Your silence isn't just about creating space. It's about proving that you're capable of standing strong on your own. What's interesting is that this respect often turns into attraction. When she sees you as someone who values themselves, she starts to wonder, what did I miss? How did I not see his worth before? This shift in perspective can be the turning point in how she views you. Section 9. How to avoid common mistakes during no contact. No contact is a powerful tool, but it only works if you use it correctly. One of the biggest mistakes people make is breaking the silence too soon. Whether it's out of loneliness, frustration, or a desire for closure, reaching out prematurely can undo all the progress you've made. Another common mistake is stalking her social media or trying to gather information about what she's doing. This might seem harmless, but it often leads to overthinking and emotional setbacks. Remember, no contact isn't just about silence, it's about focusing on yourself. A third mistake is trying to manipulate her emotions. Silence works because it's genuine. If your goal is to play games or make her feel bad, it will backfire. Women can sense inauthenticity, and any progress you make will be temporary at best. The key to avoiding these mistakes is to stay disciplined. Remind yourself why you initiated no contact in the first place. Was it to regain self-respect, create space for reflection, or shift the dynamic? Whatever your reason, hold on to it and stay the course. Section 10. The next steps after silence. When the silence starts working and she reaches out, it's time to plan your next move. This is where many men make mistakes. They either fall back into old patterns or overcompensate by acting overly aloof. The right approach lies in balance. Start by acknowledging her effort to reconnect, but don't rush into anything. Keep your tone light and neutral, saying something like, "Hey, good to hear from you." This keeps the conversation open without revealing too much too soon. Next, focus on maintaining the boundaries you've set. If she genuinely wants to rebuild the connection, let her show it through her actions, not just her words. Pay attention to whether she's making an honest effort or simply testing the waters. Most importantly, use this opportunity to demonstrate the growth you've experienced during no contact. Whether it's through your newfound confidence, mindset, or outlook on life, let her see that you're not the same person she walked away from. This isn't about proving anything to her, it's about showing that you've leveled up for yourself. By staying calm, confident, and focused, you'll not only pass any tests she might throw your way, but also set the stage for a stronger, more balanced connection, if that's what you choose to pursue. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Stoic Life Journal. If you found value in our video, please click on one of the suggested videos on the screen to continue exploring how Stoicism can transform your daily life and motivate your mind. We appreciate you being a part of our thoughtful community. Until next time, remember, silence reveals the truth. Those who can't handle it were never meant to stay.